Good afternoon, good evening, good day to you whenever you find this video. I trust you're well. It's been a long time since I put together a message. It's already in the year 2023. I trust that you have put together before God and man and woman, of course, things that are necessary for your endeavors to be successful. Well, I want to back up, all the way back up. Don't need these, sorry. I want to back up to the point where, as I was a young man in 1977, I came across a certain publication that came from a man who was editor in chief for a magazine called Pentecostal Evangel. It came from the Assembly of God Pentecostal Evangel. And this man was, editor in chief. Now, after he basically was asked to leave, resigned, whatever happened, I do not know the full story. But what I do know is this man was used mightily by God. Now, in 1977, I was at a service. And I came into the lobby, the hallway of the lobby, and there was what I would call a publication. There was various publications that were there available at anyone's pleasure. They could grab it was called the banner. They grab an article on the banner. There was 4 publications seasonally, and there was other publication, but this particular publication was just in an 8.5 by 11 format. It was the last one. Excuse me, I drink coffee. Breakfast blend. It's good stuff. It was there, and it was the only copy, so I grabbed it. Well, when I read it after I left the service, I read it, took it home, I read it. I was befuddled, as it were. I don't know if that's a good word. I was set back by what I was reading, and it was again 7 pages, I believe, front and back, 8.5 by 11. It was this particular man, prophesying concerning the coming judgments of God upon the many cities in my country and also the world, but predominantly was talking about this country, my country. Well, as I looked at it, as I read it, I was I got to get this out. This message is like the main page of a publication, a newspaper, hear ye. And I said, I got to get this out. So what I did was, made several copies and passed it out to my friends. And as I did so, I couldn't believe the response. Excuse me again. Many people were saying, "Where'd you get this?" I said, "Well, from so and so, this brother." And they said, "This is a word from the Lord. Well, you got to get this out." Well, from 1977 to present day 2023, this has traveled the world. Has gone through various sources which interpreted it to be their message. And that happens typically. I'm not upset. It also was transcending a lot of what is going on today regarding Christian circles, publications. This man spoke as an oracle. If I could read the whole thing word for word, it would approximately be 45 minutes in reading. And there was a lot of truth that was given out of this message. So as I began to publish it, many of my friends were like, wow, we need to really pay attention to what this man's saying. And so we did. We were very sincere. Nothing was haphazard. We weren't joking around. This was a serious matter. So now in 2023, as I've been faithful to keep this particular copy in my computer, from hard copy to computer copy, I couldn't help but just read it a few days ago and sit back and say, Lord, this is your word. This is a prophecy from a man of God who spoke forth like an oracle, like he was speaking for you. And he was speaking for the Lord. And it was basically the coming judgments and calamities that are soon to come upon the church. Again, 1977. I kept it. I passed it around. It's been copied. Excuse me for saying it. It's been sort of mutilated by zealous Christian people. But the truth of the word is still there. So I want to share it with you basically as an introduction. Excuse me again. This is part 1. I'll share it as an introduction. But I want you to know that Brother Frodzim, the man who spoke as an oracle, has gone on to be with the Lord. He was a messenger that was sent from God. I was glad to send this and share this. But if you'd like to know more, stay tuned. This has been a new publication that I am going to continue putting messages out here on the forefront based on what is going on today. Many of the name it, claim it, uh, speak it forth and it's yours type ministries came out soon after this particular message that was a warning from these men of God, so to speak, that are now still practicing whatever they practice. It's all in the Word. If you'd like to get in touch with me, just respond to this, and I'll see how I can get this message to you. God bless you, and maybe I always say, as I always say, may you go with God, and may God go and be with you and in you. Amen and amen. Excuse me. Okay, what do I do now? Been a long time, people.